Hey, Jason here from Simply Swider. So if your Samsung washer is showing that ND code, or maybe you're seeing 5E, SE, 5C, or SC, don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly how to fix it. The good news, about 80% of these drain problems can be fixed in under 30 minutes with basic tools you probably already have at home. Before we get started, if you run into any questions, jump into our Facebook group. Links in the description. We've got thousands of people helping each other fix their appliances, and I pop in there daily to help out. So the drain filter is probably your best friend when it comes to fixing this ND code. You can see on the screen right now where this little guy sits. It's behind that access panel at the bottom front of your washer. Here's what happens. All that debris, pet hair, coins, screws, even socks somehow end up clogging this filter and boom, your washer can't drain. I had this customer last month call me in a panic about her Samsung throwing the 5E code. Turned out she had about 6 months worth of lint and a couple quarters jamming up that filter. Here's the safe way to do this fix. First, unplug your washer completely from the wall outlet, not just the power button. If you just ran a hot cycle, wait 1 full hour for the water to cool down. This prevents burns. Grab several old towels and place them around the base of your washer because you'll definitely have water spillage. Open that access cover at the lower right. Pull out the rubber drain hose, remove the white drain plug to empty the water, and twist that debris filter counterclockwise to remove it. Clean all that gunk out, rinse it under the faucet, and reinstall it. Way more often than you'd think, this alone solves the whole problem. Another common culprit is your drain hose setup. This one's sneaky because it might have worked fine for months, then suddenly start acting up. You'll know it's a hose issue when that ND code pops up, but the filter looked clean. Here's the thing. If your drain hose is kinked behind the washer or if it's inserted too far into that standpipe, you're fighting physics. The hose should only go about 6 to 7 inches max into that drain pipe. Any deeper, and you get this siphoning effect that constantly pulls water out of your washer. I remember this lady who moved her washer to clean behind it, and when she pushed it back, the hose got kinked. 3 loads later, ND Code City. Pull your washer out and visually inspect that corrugated drain hose for any kinks or bends. Also check if that white plastic strap with the metal screw is still attached to the back of the machine. If that's missing, you're going to get siphoning problems for sure. Now, if your filter's clean and your hose looks good, we might be dealing with a dead drain pump. This is where things get a bit more involved, but it's still totally doable. The pump motor itself can fail mechanically or electronically. Sometimes that thermal cutoff kicks in and shuts the whole thing down. You'll know it's the pump when everything else checks out, but you still can't get water to drain. Here's a quick test. Unplug your washer and access that drain pump at the bottom front. You'll need to remove the control panel and front panel to get in there. Once you can see the pump, locate the plastic impeller blades inside. Using a flashlight, manually spin the impeller with your finger. You should feel moderate magnetic resistance, like turning a generator by hand. If the blades spin freely with no resistance, feel loose and wobbly, or won't turn at all, your pump motor has failed and needs replacement. The motor part usually runs about 125 to 250 depending on where you shop. Way cheaper than calling someone like me out to do it. Here's where it gets expensive. Sometimes that main control board isn't sending power to the drain pump. This is probably 15% of the ND codes I see, but it's the one nobody wants to hear about. You'll know it's the board when your drain pump actually works fine if you test it manually with 120 volts, but the washer still throws that error code. Here's the test. Use a multimeter to check if the PCB is sending 120 volts to the pump during a drain cycle. If you're getting 0 volts when it should be draining, that control board is toast. The bad news, these boards run anywhere from 230 to 385 for the part alone. The worst news, on these Asian brands, the boards are often filled with silicone, so component level repair is basically impossible. Before you spend that kind of money, double check all your wiring connections between the board and pump. Sometimes it's just a loose harness. Don't overlook this one. Excessive suds can actually trigger drain errors and strain your pump. If you're seeing sud 5UD, SD 5 days, suds, or 5UD5 instead of the straight ND code, this is your problem. Here's what's happening. Too much detergent or the wrong type creates so many suds that your pump can't push water through all that foam. The washer might pause and wait for the suds to dissipate on its own, but if it keeps happening, you're going to burn out that drain pump, fighting all those bubbles. The fix is pretty simple. Pour about half a cup of fabric softener mixed with half a gallon of water into the dispenser tray and wait 5 to 15 minutes. That'll break down the suds. Going forward, here's how to prevent this. Use only 1 tablespoon of HE detergent for normal loads, 2 tablespoons max for heavily soiled items. Always check that your detergent bottle says He or high efficiency on the label. Regular detergent creates 3 to 4 times more suds and will damage your pump over time. Don't ask me how I know this, but I've seen people use regular detergent in HE washers and wonder why they keep getting drain errors. All right, so what we're dealing with here is basically your washer telling you it can't drain properly. Now, I'm going to walk you through the most common causes of this error code, starting with the absolute simplest fixes and working our way up to the more involved ones. Trust me on this, about 90% of the time, it's going to be one of the first two things we check. The drain filter itself doesn't usually need replacing. Cleaning it is free and solves most problems. But if yours is cracked or damaged somehow, you're looking at maybe 10 to 20 bucks for a replacement. You can find them at appliance parts stores or online. This is definitely a DIY job. It literally just twists out and back in. The key thing to remember is always let hot water cool down before you mess with it and have towels ready because water's going to spill when you pull that filter out. For the drain hose, if you need a replacement, parts typically run anywhere from $15 to $40 depending on the length and where you shop. Most hardware stores carry universal ones, or you can get the exact OEM part from appliance dealers. This is a moderate DIY repair. Just make sure you get the installation height right. Too deep in that standpipe, and you'll be right back where you started with siphoning issues. The drain pump motor is where you'll spend some real money, but it's still way cheaper than a service call. You're looking at about 125 to 250 for the motor itself, and here's a pro tip. Aftermarket pumps often last just as long as OEM ones and cost significantly less. Universal pumps like DP1 or DP2 work on most models. This is a moderate to advanced DIY repair since you'll need to remove panels and deal with hose clamps and electrical connections. Test the old pump first with a multimeter. Should show about 10 to 60 ohms resistance if it's good. This is the expensive one. Main control boards run anywhere from 230 to 385, and that's just the part. The labor to install it can easily push you over 400 total. Before you go this route, really make sure it's the board and not something else. Test that the pump gets proper voltage during drain cycles. If you're not comfortable with electrical testing, this might be where you call someone like me. Sometimes it's worth it, sometimes you're better off putting that money toward a new washer. Here's the expensive reality. Main control boards cost $230 to $385 for just the part, plus another $150 to $200 in labor if you hire a technician. That puts you at $400 to $600 total. At that price point, you need to consider whether it's worth repairing a washer that's over 7 years old or putting that money toward a new machine. Now you can see right there on your screen the most common Samsung models that run into these drain issues. Take a look. You might even spot your own model up there. Don't worry about memorizing all those numbers, but it's good to know these problems are super common across the whole Samsung front loader lineup. That's how you tackle the Samsung ND code and all its variations. Here's your action plan. Step 1. Clean that drain filter first. It solves the problem 8 out of 10 times. Step 2. If you still get the error code, check your drain hose for kinks and proper installation depth. Step 3. Only then consider pump or control board issues. Following this order can save you hours of unnecessary work and hundreds in repair costs. If you guys know someone who's having appliance troubles, please send them the link to this video or a link to my channel where I have tons of other videos showing how to fix pretty common issues with appliances, sometimes for free or as little cost as possible. It sure beats having a repairman come out and spending several hundred for them to fix it when it could be something so simple. If this helped you get your Samsung washer draining again, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Let me know which fix worked for you. Really helps other people with the same problem. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'll get this out to more folks who need to save some time and money. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.